Our story begins on Verona streets, where a fight breaks out between the Montagues and the Capulets. The fight is ended by the prince, who threatens their execution if the fight ever breaks out again. So after the fight, Benvolio goes out to look for Romeo, because he hears he's feeling sad, and he doesn't know why. So he finds Romeo, and Romeo says that he's feeling sad because there's this girl that he likes, but he knows that she doesn't like him back, and he feeds him all this, how he's feeling and all that. And so Benvolio says, let's go to this party, we'll meet a whole bunch of girls. So the party they're going to is at the Capulets, so it's going to be pretty dangerous because of the prince's threat. And they're going with their friend Mercutio. Now, they're pretty sure that they won't get caught because of the fact that it's a mask party and everyone's wearing masks. Now, Romeo wants to go because he knows that the girl he likes is going to be there, and he wants to see her. But of course, he's going to see Juliet. So they're at the party, he sees Juliet, Juliet sees him, they fall in love, they kiss, everything's great, and then they find out they belong to their enemy families. Na. So at the end of the party, Romeo's outside, and Mercutio and Benvolio walk up, so avoiding them, he jumps over the Capulets' fence into their backyard. And Mercutio and Benvolio were like, why did he do that? So in the backyard of the Capulets, Romeo sees Juliet talk, and he hears her talking about him. And he's like, should I let her know that I'm here, because she's saying such nice things about me? And yeah, so he doesn't, and she continues, and so he's like, well, I've heard enough. Hey, I'm here, Juliet. And she's like, ew, what creepy person's watching me from my window? And it's like, it's me, Romeo. And she's like, oh, well, then that's alright then. So they kiss, and then they discuss getting married, and Romeo says, well, maybe I'll call you tomorrow. The next day, Mercutio and Benvolio are looking for Romeo, because he didn't come home. So they go out, and they find him, and he's just, wandering on along his business. And they walk up to him, they ask him where he was, and then all of a sudden, the nurse from Juliet's nursery comes over, and Mercutio's making fun of her, because, she's an old lady, and she's like, asks for Romeo. Romeo goes over. She asks if he's going to marry Juliet, and he says yes. So Romeo goes over to the friar to see if he can marry them. Friar is playing around with his flowers, so Romeo asks, so can you marry me to Juliet? And he's like, this is crazy. Wait a minute. This could end the evil feud between the families so that they love each other. So he's like, okay. So they get married. It's a pretty simple wedding, and yeah. So the day after the wedding, Benvolio and Mercutio are in the town, and they're like, oh no, Tybalt wants to fight Romeo because he crashed the party. And Tybalt's like, I want to fight Romeo because he crashed the party. Anyway, so Mercutio is like, Romeo isn't exactly probably the best sword fighter and all that, so I'm going to fight him instead. Haha. So he's egging him on, and then, conveniently, Romeo shows up. Yay! So he's like, what's going on? And Tybalt's like, oh, nothing, I just want to fight you. And he's like, I'm not going to fight you, because mysteriously now I like you, and I can't tell you why. But we all know that's because, he's married to Juliet, which is Tybalt's cousin. Anyway, so Mercutio goes up to fight him. Romeo comes up to stop it, and Tybalt stabs Mercutio under the arm. And he dies. And he doesn't exactly like that. So he runs after Tybalt, and he kills him. Yes, and then he's like, oh no, I killed Tybalt, which is Juliet's cousin. Okay, so since Romeo killed Tybalt, the prince banishes him from Verona for forever and whatnot. But, Romeo still needs to finish tying the knot with Juliet so that they can't be unwed, so yeah, no need to see this. Anyway, then Juliet's dad gives the okay to some other guy to marry his daughter. But Juliet obviously says no, because, she is already married to Romeo, and her dad freaks out on her. So she's scared, so she goes to Friar Lawrence. Friar Lawrence says, drink this. Your parents will think you're dead temporarily, and they'll put you in the tomb. And when you're in the tomb, we'll call Romeo up, and he'll come and get you." So he gives the message to be sent to Romeo, and the messenger guy goes up to the gate and says, "I need to get past," but the messenger guy says, "Nope." So he goes, "Oh well," and he walks away and tells Friar Lawrence. But somehow Romeo's servant person gets past the gate and tells him that Juliet is dead, but we don't know how. So yeah, Romeo thinks she's dead, drinks a potion, and he dies, and just as he dies, Friar Lawrence walks in, and then Juliet wakes up and sees Romeo is dead, so she kills herself. And yeah, and the two parents of the two kids walk in and see they're dead, and they start crying, and Friar Lawrence says, "This is your fault for the evil feud." So the feud ends, and they make statues in the name of the ending of the feud. The end.